The former St. Barb Hospital was founded by Archpriest Kramer of Moorhungy, who, following the purchase of land, donations, successions and new buildings, developed this establishment until 1911. His successor, Archpriest Breck, acquired new land, had a second floor built and proceeded to connect the various buildings. It was a private health institution, belonging to the Mens Curial of the Catholic Church of Moorhungy, recognized of public utility by the Imperial Administration of Alsace-Lorraine of Strasbourg, in 1902, and who took in the needy old men and the sick of the city and its surroundings. The management of this institution was initially entrusted to the Sisters of Providence of Peltre, Moselle, who had been managing the Hospice St. Blaise, facing the hospital, since 1874. During the War of 1914 to 1918, given the food restrictions, the direction to provide for the residents, annexed to the establishment a farm with pigsty and stable, located next to the present house Jeanne d'Arc. During the Second World War, the Nazi administration confiscated the hospital property and the hospital mission was no longer fulfilled. At the time of the liberation of Moorhungy in 1944, the hospital suffered considerable damage. Restoration work was undertaken and in 1945, the hospital was the only one to operate surgically within 30 to 50 kilometers. Work was then carried out from 1946 to 1956, but it was mainly from 1956, with the arrival of Abbé Schaeffler, and in 1958, with the arrival of the new superior, Sister Bridget, of the Congregation of Providence of Peltre, that major transformations could be achieved: construction of an annex house for the laundry and the kitchen, installation of an elevator, modernization of the sterilization of the operating room and the electrical installation, creation of a radio room, creation, maternity services, etc. The hospital had 40 beds and included a surgical service, a children's service, a home for sick old people. The management of this renovated hospital had been entrusted to Sister Bridget, assisted by a board of 10 members. In 1946, Dr. Louis Sarr became the hospital surgeon. He had been a surgical intern at the St. Blandine Hospital in Metz and had run the Belle Isle Hospital in Metz since September 1944. He had, in the tormented period of the Second World War, thanks to his medical knowledge and his daring interventions, at the risk of terrible sanctions and despite the surveillance of the Gestapo, allowed young refractories, refusing to wear the German uniform and escape forced enlistment. During his long service, which ended in 1980, the surgeon operated on multiple patients, assisted by a dedicated staff who also provided emergency first aid, before being transferred to a specialized department. The facility was open to all doctors in the city who wanted to treat their patients. The maternity service operated until 1960, and was transferred to Falquemont-Créchange. The hospital was closed definitively in 1990 and was transformed into a residence managed by Moseless since June 1993.